Okay, so hope I'm audible. So, anybody remember last class till where we covered? Road rollers and pile drivers. I'm not sure. I think plant machinery and equipment hand tools we touched, it seems. Correct? Concrete operators. Anybody just text in the chat box. Have we covered this slide? Slide number 24. Pneumatic compressors. I think not. Operators. Compressors, I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not audible. Okay. Yes, Srinivas. Now you can able to unmute. So initially I have muted because people are joining, right? It will be disturbing. So I assume that in last class we covered till the concrete vibrators. So now we'll start from the pneumatic compressors. Okay. So pneumatic compressors. So basically, I'll just take a quick recap of last session. So last session we have seen the
going on
hazards.
ना?
I think yeah. Talked about,
कल
yeah.
जो था
Sorry.
कल अपना कोई सेशन
Yes,
नहीं हुआ ना,
Navneet.
लास्ट सेशन जो संडे को हुआ था आई थिंक.
हाँ वही तो
हाँ
बता रहा
हाँ
हूँ मैंने. संडे को हुआ.
हाँ
मेरा सेशन होगा तो फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे होगा. फ्राइडे नहीं होगा तो सैटरडे संडे पक्का होगा. ठीक है. So in last class I'm just taking a quick recap. Safety scope in the construction work, as we know, it is the oldest sector, as well as it is an economically it creates a big structure in the industries. Then here the people involvement will be very high. A lot of people will be involved in this sector. So there you will see most of them are unorganized sector. We also called as unorganized. Most of the construction companies are, they are well organized and they are planning their activities in such a way that to avoid the accidents because of the strengthening of legal requirements in the countries. Then we have seen the philosophy of construction sector. So not about the only construction sector. If you talk about any sector, so they should have, first of all, the management commitment. The management should have the such a commitment that they should realize the consequences of the accidents. So most of the managements, how they think is, okay, जब होगा तो देख लेंगे, अभी तो नहीं होना, अभी हम लोग खाली देख लेंगे, अभी इतना इन्वेस्ट करने का जरूरत नहीं है सेफ्टी के ऊपर. ऐसा लोग है. I mean, the people used to think like that. So once they taste the consequences, so once you feel the pain while you're running, if you're not focusing while you're driving with a high speed as a teenager, so I can give an example, until unless if they didn't feel the consequences, the impact, able to control my bike even though it is at 110 kilometer per hour, 120 kilometer per hour. So once they feel or once they taste the accident, then the consciousness will comes in automatically. Okay. Then we have seen how it is responsible, everybody's precautions and practices. Okay. Then also we have seen it is the responsibility of the organizations or the management to educate, give training, and also supervision on the activities which they are performing. Okay. Then we covered the what are the basic measures. So using of compulsory of the helmets, because of most of the construction sites there may be a chance of fall incidents, fall of objects, as well as a trip slip hazards are very high, slip trip hazards. So, and also projection projection of objects in the walkways, those also will be high in the construction side. So that we should always use safety helmet and also shoes in the construction sector, and also uses of safety belts if the people are working at 1.8 meters and above. So provision of canvas for the scaffolding, it is nothing but wherever there is a chance of fall objects. So there you have to provide the safety nets. Then housekeeping, providing the proper tools, and also and providing training to the new workers. Then we talked about the various hazards, as we know, fall of persons, and also fire, electrocution, material handling, and also transport accidents. Then we talked about the site layout and planning, how the site layout should be planned. So the layout should be planned in such a way that so it should not the vehicle movement as well as people movement should not interact. If it is interacting, there we should have a proper control. So there should be a traffic controlman or signaling, or there we have to have a convex mirrors in place, and also we have to define the speed limit for the vehicle movement. Okay, so here basically we'll plan for the whole. So based on the we'll plan for overall project, then again we'll divide that whole plan into the sub plans, then we can execute the sub plans. Okay, then safe access and egress. So it is basically, when it says safe access and egress, it talks about how to reach a workplace and how you can exit from the workplace on a safer manner. So if you do an excavation, so in excavation, how a person can enter into the excavation pit, and how can he will come out from that excavation pit. Then we have seen the work permit checklist. Okay, and also we have seen the construction safety checklist. So as I told you, it is not a mandatory checklist or this thing. So here you can alter the points. Okay, based on the site conditions. Okay, then the good housekeeping, this is also a very necessity. So if your premises or the facility, which is how good it is, how tiny, and also the maintenance of workplace, so it is almost reduced 50% of your accidents. So by removing the all the excess materials which are in the workplace, by proper segregation of the waste, by identifying the location for the set of equipments, and also rejection equipments, then waste disposal, cleaning of the premises on time, so they can drastically reduce the potential hazards in the workplace. So this has to be monitored by the supervisors before and starting of the shift, as well as in between. Okay, and the same thing we'll cover also in the work permit as well before closing of a work permit. So whoever is executing the activity, they will say that okay, we have removed and cleaned the all the respective waste materials from the work area. Now it is place is ready to work. Then we have seen the statutory provisions, so hence we cover legal part I'm not touching now. So maybe from next week we'll start is 105. So today and tomorrow hopefully we'll complete this chapter. From next week onwards we'll start discussing is 105, which is legislation paper, safety legislation. Then also we discuss these Indian standards, and I have shown you an example also by searching in Google. So where you can search any doubt. If you have doubt on any specific equipment or any specific process, you just simply search. If it is available, definitely you will get it in the PDF document. There you can read. Then we have seen the different types of machineries we use in the construction sector: lifting appliances or transport, plant machinery, and also some of the other equipments which we use in the construction sector. So here we've seen pulleys, then chain pulley blocks, switches, hoist, and also we discussed about earth moving equipments where we'll get trucks, JCBs, bulldozers, dozers, road rollers, etc. Okay, and pile drivers also be covered. Then we have seen this concrete mixtures as well. Nowadays, the concrete mixtures are previously it is in a manual operation. Nowadays, we are getting the RMC, ready mix concrete. Okay, where you the concrete will be mixed in the plant, then it has been transported by the vehicles, so it will direct come to the plant. Then concrete vibrators. So as we know, these vibrators basically we use for to settle down the concrete properly to avoid the honeycomb. So if people are working in construction sector, they will know about the honeycomb. It is just a kind of a porous structure. So how the honeycomb look like with the different structure, right? With the hexagon structure, it will create same kind of thing you will see in the concrete once they pour any columns. So there you see this honeycomb kind of structure, in the sense there is a chance of the air pockets in the concrete to take out all those stuff. So we use this vibrators to settle down the concrete in a appropriate manner. Okay, so these are things we covered in last week. I will start from the pneumatic compressors. So these also the compressors, as we know, so we use for to create a pressure or to create an air, where we use this air for various applications. Air, especially for the instruments or any pneumatic tools. When I say pneumatic, these are completely operated by the compressed air. So there we should need a PRVs, a pressure relief valves. Okay. Nowadays the compressors are very, I mean, advanced. So there you will, it will completely take out the moisture in the air. So basically how it happens, they will absorb the air from the atmosphere, then it will filter the air to an extent to remove all the dust particles and also the moisture in the air, and also in case of any the oil. Sometimes what will happen, some of the atmospheres, there might be in a high polluted areas where you will see the droplets of oils in case of any nearby refineries or etc. So it will take out the uh, clean the complete oil, then it will stored at the compressed stage. When I say compressed, it's been pressurized, then later point of time we can use that air for the tools which we can use in the construction sector. So compressor should be equipped with an automatic device to control the safe discharge pressure, and also quick relief valve, and also suitable arrangements to prevent or remove contamination in a confined space. Okay, when we say contamination, so it is a kind of purging. So purging in the sense we used to supply in a fresh air into the vessels or tanks, so that it can take out the bad smell or odor or any settled substances in the confined space, so that we can use to remove the contaminants. And where explosive gas mixture may be formed in the in a compressor, it should be protected against the sparking. So sometimes what will happen, there might be a chance of a flammable atmosphere which can create very often. In that situation, if you're using any compressor, there you can fit with the protecting from the sparking, so that you do proper greasing, or you'll have proper earthing for the motor, as well as you can have proper greasing for the motor and the pulley setup. So water flow should be ensured in the water cooling jets. Inner and also after cooler should be able to withstand the maximum pressure in the air discharge piping. Such piping should be provided with a fusible plug, and also insulation to protect workers against the burns and also fire risk. So water flow and water jacketing. It is basically for the where you have uh, the jacket which we apply around the vessels or tanks for the heating and cooling applications. So when I say the fusible plug, it is a kind of an protection. How like we have in a pressure cookers, where you see in our domestic pressure cookers, there also we'll see this fusible plug. One is the vessel, which will open up whenever it reaches to the pressure. It will release the excess pressure. Then there is a other one which is a knob kind of button you will see. That is a fusible plug. It acts as a secondary layer of protection whenever the whistle fails, which means whenever the pressure relief valve fails to activate, then this fusible plug will burn, and it can release the excess pressure which is inside. And where stop the valves are installed in the air discharge piping, they should be easily accessible for the inspection, testing, and cleaning. And more safety valves should be installed between the compressor and the stop valves. So we need a air discharge piping and also stop valves. So it is stop valves are nothing but control valves. So those control valves should be easily accessible for inspection and other cleaning purposes. Then we use electrical tools. So when we talk about electrical tools, we covered already in IS 102, which is safety engineering one, various portable tools we use, which are operated by electricity. So when I say operated by electricity, what are the tools we use? We use drill machines, chipping machines, screwing machines, grinding machines, buffing machines, cutting machines, and also bending machines, a different kind, and also breakers. So these are the different types of portable tools we use by which are operated by electrical energy. So they should be operated at a low voltage and with ELCB to avoid the risk of shock. The tool should be properly earthed with a metallic case. And all insulated, double insulated tools need not to be earthed. And also, the periodic inspection and maintenance should be carried out by a competent electrician. A proper fuse and insulated handles are necessary. So, whenever, for example, welding machines, there we need an earthing. When you talk about any drilling machines or grinding machines, those comes with a double insulation. When you say double insulation, how you can identify? There is a square which is this, I think I have shown in the 101. So when we say double insulated, how it looks is, so this is how it looks. The symbol, I think completely it will become a dark. So where you see this are a double insulation. Okay, this is how it looks when it's a double insulation. So whatever the chances of the metallic parts or the conductors which are inside an electrical tool, they have been double insulated so that this need not to have any earthing. Then hand tools, these are again basic hand tools as we see in wrenches, cutting pliers, screwdrivers, hammers, chisels, etc. All those things also be used in the construction industry for various applications. Okay. Then conveyors should be smooth in running. So these conveyors, if you see mostly in the quarries or any stone crushing units, mostly we use even in the for the cement manufacturing also, in the mines also they used to carry the huge amount of limestone from quarries to the manufacturing site. There also we use this conveyors. So here we have to avoid the nip points, nip between the uh, tight belt and also pulley or rollers and other transmission parts should be guarded. If they are not entirely enclosed, at crossover places, bridge with the hand railing should be provided. So what will happen? So here we'll have a rollers to run the conveyor belt. There should have chance of a nip. The people will be chance to stuck between the roller and the conveyor belt. Those has to be effectively guarded. And also we should not allow the people to cross the conveyor by stepping on the running conveyors. If at all it is people need to be crossed, there we have to provide a bridge with proper handrail. And we should have emergency stop devices like a cord or a cable. So it is nothing but emergency switch. The application of this cable or cord basically act as an emergency switch. So when I say emergency switch, so what will happen? What is the application of emergency switch? Anybody? इमरजेंसी स्विच का एप्लीकेशन क्या है, उसका यूसेज क्या है इमरजेंसी स्विच का?
For example, in our Amazon sites, like if any package stuck between the transition point and nip point, or else
Mm-hmm.
if, for example, person who is working on conveyor, her cloth or her body part stuck between, so we can press that emergency situation to shut the conveyor on immediate basis.
Yes, thanks, Mohammed. So basically what happens is, when I say emergency, there our intention is to stop the activity or the functionality of the machine. So when I say functionality of the machine, basically these conveyors are run by the electric power. We used to isolate the electric power. When the moment I press the emergency button, it will isolates the power from the prime movers. When I say prime movers, the motors. So when the motor stops, automatically the activity stops in this case. Okay, fine. Again, sometimes the people used to sleep on these conveyors. Again, sometimes these conveyors are so lengthy you can't able to see the another end of the conveyor, because the conveyors we put in such a location that there are fixed points. When I say starting from one end, and it definitely the destination is at another end, you can't change these points. These 2 points are fixed points. So in those circumstances, we use the conveyors. Okay, and also sometimes multiple conveyors will be used in those situations. The conveyors which are not in running condition, the other conveyor should not feed on the conveyor which is not in running case. ये जाके दूसरा कन्वेयर के पास उसके ऊपर नहीं डालना है, क्योंकि वो कन्वेयर बंद पे ना, so it should not be. So there we have to control. And whenever the conveyors are so lengthy, what we have to do, we should have a flashing beacons, or we can create an alarm or an indicator, so that if somebody is sleeping or somebody is sitting on that, so that we can able to make them aware that okay, the conveyor is going to be start. Those kind of uh, safety controls we can follow. Then underground works. So when I say underground works, includes excavation in surface soil or rock, any drilling, blasting, trenching, shoring, or shutting or tunneling, piling, and also shaft nipping, and also Holge or underground pipelines. These are the various kinds of activities we do. It requires again due consideration of underground lighting, ventilation, electricity, dust control, inrush of water, oil and gas, or continuous safety of people at work. Some of the provisions we'll see now. So when we say underground works, basically, majorly those are in type of excavation. Okay. What is the, I mean, when you say excavation, to what depth? If you dig a soil, then it will
Two,
fall
two
under
meter and above.
excavation. 2
2
meter,
meter
2 meter
and
depth.
above. Yes, yes.
Okay. Any other answer?
Yes, sir.
2 meter means it is almost 6 feet depth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Any other answer from others?
Sir, what is the question?
So what is the depth if you start doing an excavation? So if you reach what depth, then you will feel it as, or when it will be
1.5,
considered
sir.
as an excavation.
1.5.
1.5 meter depth.
Yes. Confined space में आ जाएगा.
No, confined space नहीं, वो तो बात सही है. No, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट confined space. अभी मैं तो एक्सकवेशन परमिट लेना है. हम लोग कितने खुदाई करेगा तो, आई मीन कितना डेप्थ खुदाई करेगा तो हम लोग कन्फाइंड, आई मीन एक्सकवेशन परमिट लेंगे.
1.5, sir. That also.
1.5 meter depth.
नो सर,
सर
500
नहीं, सॉरी. एक्सकवेशन के लिए आप
500
इतना भी
mm.
कर लीजिए. एक्सकवेशन के लिए लेट इट बी वॉट एवर डेप्थ इट माइट बी, यू हैव टू टेक एक्सकवेशन परमिट.
हाँ वही तो. सो बेसिकली इफ यू आर डिगिंग मोर देन 30 सेंटीमीटर्स, 1 फुट के अंदर आप ये कर रहे हैं ना, तब ऐसा होगा तो फिर हम लोग जो गार्डन के लिए जो ये करता है ना, लेवलिंग करता है, उसको भी हम लोग एक्सकवेशन लेंगे, जो ऊपर ऊपर काम
नो
करता है.
सर,
नो
नहीं है ना?
नो सर,
सर,
नो
बट
नो.
इंडस्ट्रियली क्या है ना, आईएसबीएल एरिया में 1 फुट से भी कम है तो भी हम लेते हैं जनरली. क्योंकि सर
बट
केबल्स में गो ना, इलेक्ट्रिकल केबल्स, इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन SCADA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then again, that is in a best practice, Srinivas. I'm not objecting that It is, I mean, not supposed to be take a permit if it is less than 1 feet, but as an industry or in a this thing a standard, if the excavation is happening more than 30 centimeters, then we'll definitely take an excavation permit.
Okay, okay.
Okay. 1 फीट के ऊपर तो कोई केबल डालता ही नहीं है एज पर माई नॉलेज, बट मे बी सम सिचुएशंस आर देयर माइट बी टेम्पररी केबल्स दे यूज टू कीप जस्ट fill the soil just one few inches, they will do that. Okay. ये 1 meter 1.5 meter नहीं है, it is just 1 foot 30 centimeter and more. You're doing an excavation activity or digging the soil, it will fall under excavation. So हम लोग क्या क्या precautions लेते हैं excavation करने के लिए? Anybody?
Shoring, shuttering.
Okay, shoring बोले तो?
Benching,
Slope, sir.
Yes, benching. Yes,
sloping,
that is also
benching,
one of them.
shoring.
Benching.
And ladder top shall be at least 3 feet height so that he can come up safely.
Okay. So basically, when you're doing
Sir,
excavation, हाँ,
sir,
yeah,
sir, according to soil condition.
हाँ, वो तो soil condition depends on soil condition.
Sir,
We do the
sir,
benching or
first,
sloping.
Sure. Yeah, there are three types
sir,
of soils, right? Type A, Type B, Type C.
Yes, type A, type B, and type C. According to that, we choose the suitable method, either sloping or benching. Okay. What are the other precautions we follow?
We have to measure
area
oxygen
verification, sir.
One by
level.
one. Yes, Srinivas. हाँ.
Area,
We have to
a-
identify whether whether wherever we are doing the excavation, we have to identify is there any cable laid or not, or toxic gases are present. For that, we have to identify with the cable detector or gas detector.
Mm-hmm.
सर जनरली ऑल डिपार्टमेंट से पहला प्रायर ये लेना पड़ता है सर, क्लियरेंस whether any
Yeah.
cables are going through that excavation route and
Yeah.
कहाँ पे excavate कर रहे हैं ड्राइंग में दिखाना पड़ेगा,
Yeah.
and oxygen level to be measured once after excavation if any person would like to go inside for work.
Yes. Because why we need to measure?
कन्फाइंड स्पेस में आता है सर, 1.5 मीटर से डेप्थ में.
हाँ, एक तो कन्फाइंड स्पेस हो गया, दूसरा साइट के कंडीशंस के हिसाब से इफ एनी गैस और वेपर्स विच आर heavier than vapor density, we discussed right in IS 108, we talked about various parameters, TLV, PLV, vapor density. Vapor density is high, what will happen? It will have tendency to settle. For example, LPG तो हवा से ये वेट, इनका वेट वजन ज़्यादा है, तब क्या होगा? It is always trying to settle in the lower heights or negative heights. ये पिट्स में बैठ सकता है, ये गटर में जाके बैठेगा, और जो खुदाई किया है गड्ढा है उसमें जाके ये बैठने के लिए आदत है, क्योंकि बिकॉज ऑफ डेंसिटी. ओके.
और सर ये एक्सकवेटेड सॉइल को 1.2 मीटर डिस्टेंस में उसको ये डंपिंग करना है, अदरवाइज वो सॉइल हमारे एक्सकवेटेड पिट में जा सकता है.
Yes, basically the soil which we are excavating from the area, it has to be at least, basically we take in a minimum of 1 meter. You
1
should
meter.
not allow the
Yes.
vehicles to come nearby, as well as you are not supposed to dump the soil which you are excavated. Minimum of 1 meter. If you're taking more than that, that is well and good, that is a very good practice. You should not come at least minimum of 1 meter. And there is one more most important point. Most of
The
them we
person who
covered.
are
Huh. Yes, Chandar.
the person who are working there, they should be wearing the safety belt, and that belt should be anchored outside.
Mm,
So in case of any incident, no one need to enter inside the confined space. They can be
सर
pulled out.
लैंड कोलैप्स अवॉइड करने के लिए शटरिंग करना पड़ेगा.
there we do a shuttering and trenching or benching to avoid the land collision. Sometimes, anybody heard about undercutting?
तो सर
Undercutting.
कटिंग.
हाँ.
No, undercutting.
Undercutting क्या होता है basically? So they do an excavation, they will give a proper shape. So once they see the bottom they need to extend the footing or the size of the as per the drawing. Then what they do? They do undercutting. Undercutting in the sense from the top they will not cut. They'll just do on a bottom only. They will remove the soil just like in a caves. So with that, what will happen due to the weight
Tunnel.
of the
Tunnel like that.
top soil? Yeah, then there might be a chance of collapse. That is also very important. Undercutting and never ever allowed in the excavate area. Then also the access and egress of the excavation. How they are doing? Either they are going by ladder, as Srinivas mentioned. It at least the three rugs of the ladder should be outside, or other way of telling is at least 1 meter height, 1 meter the ladder should be uh, ओवर द लैंडिंग एरिया. जो हम लोग जो लैंडिंग एरिया बोले तो जो सरफेस का सॉइल सरफेस होता है उसके ऊपर 1 मीटर लंबा होनी चाहिए, वो छोटी नहीं होनी चाहिए. और दूसरा आप लोग स्कैफोल्डिंग ये देगा तो उसको प्रॉपरली स्टेप्स देना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो उसको भी लैडर कनेक्शन करके देना होगा. और एल्स इफ यू आर गिविंग एन ए स्लोप इट शुड बी मैक्सिमम 10 to 20 डिग्री सो दैट पीपल कैन आराम से जाके बाहर आ सकते हैं. Okay, good. I think with this, you people are not required to prepare excavation paper. I think this is the easy paper actually. Okay. Fine. Let us back to the presentation. Okay, basically, for what are the purposes we do this excavation? For the foundation or underground support is required for most of the constructions, and the method of reaching earth or rock, a term suitable for foundation is excavation. Basically, we do excavation to take the foundation for the building. It may be with or without dewatering the site, and also out of many methods, a suitable methods of excavation should be selected. So watering and dewatering. So when I say watering and dewatering, in the some of the locations geographically, the groundwater is at high levels, and also sometimes if it is any nearby water bodies, or is there any canal, or is there any sewage canals, or any nearby water body which is passing through, there might be a chance of the inrush water. When I say inrush water, water can generate or it can penetrate. So sorry. Nirup, any question?
No, sir.
Okay, yeah, fine. So there we continuously put the dewatering motors, then we can continue the activity. So general provisions of this excavation may be the underground work site will survey the hazards as of the fall of person, soil and material. So inrush of water, oil and gas, etc., and adequate lighting and ventilation to supply a fresh air inside. When it says fresh air inside, whenever these excavations are narrow and depth, there we talk about this supplying of fresh air. When you talk about inrush water, as I mentioned, there might be a chance of the water can enter in the excavate area. Oil and gas, these are nothing but underground utilities. When I say underground utilities, either it may be an electricity, either it may be a telecommunication, either it may be a gas, either it may be a something else. So these are underground utilities. Even sometimes the drainage pipeline also will maybe a pass through. So there definitely we should have a clearance. As already somebody mentioned, whenever you are starting an excavation, you should connect with maintenance and project team. Let them be in the site. In front of them, you have to mark where are the cables. You should also understand at what depth they are, and accordingly you have to do. There may whenever there is a chance of this electrical cables or utility cable, there you can do a manual excavation. For the manual excavation also, we used to have the rubber sleeves for those metallic parts where we use. I'm not sure, I mean, the word for that. In Telugu, we used to call it gaddapara. I don't know in other language what we use. For that also, we have to provide the rubber sleeve so that we can avoid in case of any accidental contact with this live electrical ones cables. We can avoid the electrical shock. Okay. Then we have lighting. So lighting, definitely yes. When you say lighting, especially in the nights, so night works we do for the concreting mostly to by considering the traffic, especially in the cities. If it is outside, it is fine. Whenever you're doing night time, the lighting should be mandatory. Okay. I'm stopping here. We